The role of the Bible. For the word of Elohim is living and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the division of soul and spirit, and of joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. The Bible is the best-selling book in the world, outselling the second-ranked book 5 times, but this wasn't always the case. There was a time when owning a Bible, reading it, or even talking about it could be grounds for imprisonment, torture, and even death. If it weren't for Elohim's special protection, the Bible would have disappeared long ago. Why, what it is so special about this book that makes it both so loved and so hated? The enemy of the Bible. Correct and incorrect ways to read the Bible. What is the Bible? Positive effects of reading the Bible. Friends of the Bible. The enemy of the Bible. Take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Elohim. Think about what the spoken word of Elohim is capable of doing, creating and giving life, or raising the dead. What can the Bible, the written word of Elohim, do? It has the power to defend us and transform us. Yeshua used the Bible to defend himself against temptation. Satan knows he is powerless against the power of the Bible. Therefore, he has tried to physically destroy it. He failed as Bible societies began distributing thousands of copies. Then he tried to discredit it with higher criticism. Now he seeks to prevent us from reading it by occupying our time with other things. Am I going to let him get away with it? Can I find some time in my schedule to read the Bible? Reading it transforms us and makes us strong against our worst enemy, the devil. Correct and incorrect ways to read the Bible. Do your best to present yourself to Elohim as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. Incorrect forms. Just find something that aligns with our own point of view. Choosing text at random without purpose. Choose the parts we like and reject the parts we dislike. Correct forms. Seek to learn Elohim's will. Conduct a systematic study. Do not reject any text but analyze them all. Our study of the Bible should be really rational, but our reason must submit to the power of the Holy Spirit in order to correctly discern the biblical message. Why? Because our reason is limited and not always reliable. That's why when studying the Bible, we must seek the wisdom of its author. What is the Bible? The entirety of your word is truth, and every one of your righteous judgment endures forever. In our society and even among Christian circles, there is a belief that truth is relative, that there is no truth that remains constant and unchanging over time. However, the Bible, as the word of Elohim, claims to possess absolute truth. It claims to be pure and a protective shield against human sophistry. If we add any of our own truths to it, we may be considered liars before Elohim. Any claim, any truth must be tested by the Bible. When there is a contradiction between what we consider true and what the Bible states, there are two possibilities. Either we are mistaken or we are misinterpreting the Bible. Positive effects of reading the Bible. Your word I have hidden in my heart, that I may not sin against you. Something that even the most ardent enemies of the Bible cannot deny its power to transform people. Paul compares it to a sword that possesses great power. It makes us see ourselves as we truly are. It keeps us from sin. It is food for our soul. It makes us grow spiritually. It gives us life. No other book can impact us like the Bible. When we are willing to incorporate its teachings into our lives, we change for the better. When we read it with an open heart and ask Elohim for the illumination of the Holy Spirit, our life is transformed. friends of the Bible. For this reason, we also thank Elohim without ceasing, because when you receive the word of Elohim, which word from us, you will come at it not as the word of men, but it is in truth that the word of Elohim, which also effectively works in you who believe. Friends of the Bible approach it with the awareness that it is the living word of Elohim. But how can I reach that conviction? Paul tells us that for this we need spiritual discernment, that is the ability to understand spiritual things. Therefore, discerning the divine message in the Bible is the work of the Holy Spirit acting within us. When we receive the Bible in this way, it shows us the state of our relationship with Elohim. It tells us how to strengthen that relationship. We are experiencing a gradual transformation. We draw near to Yeshua. It makes us wise for salvation. We are growing in the knowledge of the truth. Our faith grows and strengthens. We have hope. We are aware that a better, eternal, wonderful life awaits us. The Bible unfolds truth with a simplicity and a perfect adaptation to the needs and longings of the human heart that has astonished and charmed the most highly cultivated minds, while it enables the humblest and uncultured to discern the way of salvation. And yet these simply stated truths lay hold upon these subjects so elevated, so far-reaching, so infinitely beyond the power of human comprehension, that we can accept them only because Elohim has declared them. The more he searches the Bible, the deeper is his conviction that it is the word of the living Elohim, and human reason bows before the majesty of divine revelation.